Yeah.
Christina Coleman is here with the latest.
They should have been doing the whole time.
Hi, Mike. Portland police says their rapid response team arrested 2 men who refused to get out of the street and engaged in aggressive behavior toward each other during the protest last night. Also, the DOJ is launching an investigation into the arrest of independent conservative journalist Nicholas Sorter. He was one of a number of people
how did he get arrested?
Thursday night by Portland police during the protest. After he was released from jail, he told Fox News that he never expected to get arrested.
I could have expected that.
Jumped by Antifa thugs. I get back up, I stumble away and go back toward cops where I think, at least, all right, well, maybe that'll be a safer place for me to go.
Yeah.
Also in
Volume?
Portland,
Is it low? Sorry.
Outside the ICE facility there, a fistfight broke out between an ICE supporter and anti-ICE protester.
We saw this
Thursday
already.
night. Police were not there to the scene. Federal authorities say local politics is impacting police involvement.
It's obviously impacting their involvement. I mean, anybody who thinks otherwise is delusional.
Unfortunately, local police has been restricted from responding or cooperating at all with federal authorities, which is completely absurd.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
And things also got violent outside of the ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois, again early yesterday morning with anti-ICE protesters clashing with law enforcement.
To this universe,
Broadview's mayor blames federal authorities for the chaos.
When you see agents dispersing tear.
The problem isn't the crime. The problem is the people that are trying to stop the crime. So you have to understand that if you want the riots to stop, all you have to do is not enforce the law. Oh my God! Where do these fucking retards come from? 10 cars just boxed in ice and 1 lady was shot. Yeah, we're gonna watch that after this.
Chemical minutia or rubber pellets, what do you call it? It's unacceptable. We don't need to be policed. We know how to maintain it.
Famous singer.
I don't listen to music.
Yeah,
I
you
punish
do.
criminals.
Well, you are in the right place for that.
Well, officials within the Trump administration.
We don't need to be police, clearly, yeah.
The ongoing
starts in
violence during the
5,
protest
4,
outside of the ICE facility in Broadview,
2,
Illinois, over the
1.
past
The reason why they don't want the National Guard and military there is so they can tell the police to stand down and use Antifa as an attack dog to fulfill their political goals by being violent on their behalf. That's the strategy they're using. That's why they don't want federal authorities there.
Steve Coleman reporting live.
It's so obvious.
For more, let's bring in former Assistant U.S. Attorney for Washington, D.C. and Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Holly Simpson. Holly, welcome. So what do you make of the reaction in Portland, Oregon? So Portland joined the 80s. It's part of the bargain you get from the state and this republic is that you have to allow all of them. Yeah, obviously.
Oh, we have somebody in chat. I'll pull this guy up. Which law do you think they should get rid of, Mike? Is there any example? I mean, if I'm so dumb, I feel like you should be able to come up with an example, right? I mean, it's not like you're not sitting.
Doggies incoming.
I mean, there's no way you're sitting there talking shit. No way.
Us against the world.
I think I think he might just be so, and this is the issue, right? Is that
Again! Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
the reason why he's not responding is that he knows the logical conclusion of his reasoning is wrong. That's the reason why people don't respond and don't answer questions. Whenever you ask a person a question and they don't directly answer the question, they've just answered your question. This is true in almost every aspect of life.
Here come the bad guys.
Are there bad questions? Yes, of course. But that's not really what was happening. If you ever see somebody that's not answering a question, it's because they want to deceive you.
Quantum Magic.
including ones you may not agree with. Right. In fact, the blame lies with local leaders who don't allow police to do their job. The police are clearly for the enforcement of law, including federal law. I'm sure these local cops are friendly with the federal law. They're probably friends with it. And yet local leaders aren't allowing them to enforce the law that's despicable. They're the ones to blame. Trump wouldn't have to do anything if local leaders back down on the laws.
This is a completely manufactured problem by the leadership there in order to create unrest and chaos and then blame it on Donald Trump whenever they're the ones that actually should be enforcing the laws themselves. But they refuse to and then blame the enforcement of the laws and the consequences of people crashing out over it on other people.
A former acting DEA administrator has this message. I'll get you to react.
Do I grow like a girl?
The taxpayers are paying.
Don't mess with the amazing
to
Spider-Man!
be out there. But if they're not doing their job because these mayors and in these different cities and the city councils are directing them to stand by, I got news for Portland. The National Guard is coming. The Secretary of War, the President of the United States.
Secretary of War. Oh shit.
States are not going to tolerate.
Right? Look, you don't.
I don't know why so many people in America have decided and just kind of given up on the idea of a peaceful, harmonious society, and they viewed, they almost viewed the discord and chaos and violence and crime in society as some form of a necessary evil that is indicative of, if permitting it, is in some way virtuous. It's such a disgusting inversion of ethics and morality that it's shocking to me that it's caught on with so many people.
Collectively enforce the law. And if you're holding the reins back on local police, who you're funding, who you're asking to put their lives on the line every single day, and then you tell them, do your job with one hand behind your back, and oh, by the way, don't cooperate with the feds, you're a lawless person, you're a lawless politician.
All right, let's pivot to Chicago.
I don't agree. I think they need to be tried for, I don't know, sedition, maybe? Some form of, I think try them and put them in prison. Put them in prison. Treason involves working with another country. Sedition, I don't think necessarily does. That's the reason why treason is different than sedition. That being said, if they are working with another country and there's evidence for it, then I love that. Until, what I want to see is I want to see all the leadership of these cities and these states. I want to see them put in prison.
I won't.
And by the way, you might think that's overkill. Whenever you abstractly make decisions that negatively affect, and you have the power to do this, when you abstractly make decisions that negatively affect such a tremendous and massive amount of people, you have effectively allowed these bad things to happen.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Think about how many people are negatively affected.
Secretary Kristi Noem spent weeks snatching up families, scaring law-abiding residents, violating due process rights, and detaining U.S. citizens. They fail to focus on violent criminals and instead create panic in our communities. How do you respond?
It's a tremendous act of projection on his part. He's the one, his mayor is the one that is not enforcing local law. It's the crime tsunami in Chicago.
Yeah, this fat, I don't know why people listen to that fat retard about anything. It's incredible, man. He's sitting there, and the state is a full pizza. You've got these protests happening constantly, and he's out here complaining about Donald fucking Trump. It's pathetic. What are you aiming at?
Talk about the parts of Chicago, as I told you before, Mike, that are more dangerous than war zones in Iraq and Afghanistan. So if they would do their jobs and unleash their police to do their jobs lawfully and work with local residents. By the way, Trump won. Okay, get over it. Right? Federal law applies in Illinois, which joined the Union right after 1800, and so federal law, including immigration law, applies in Illinois.
Federal law. There was a whole war that was fought over this, and the federal law. Yeah, that's crazy. We got to go back to this again, right?
It's their fault that Trump is sending those folks there because they're not doing their job and they're for illegal immigration. And so Trump is like, look, I won on this. I even won the swing states. Get over it. And if you're not going to do your job, I'm going to second my folks to their helping do the job.
Okay, the sentencing of the would-be assassin of Justice Brett Kavanaugh, Nicholas Roski, now goes by Sophie, sentenced to 8 years. DOJ was seeking 30 years. What do you make of that?
Well, it's a overtly light.
So the guy said and he for 8 years for trying to assassinate a Supreme Court justice. Oh, what?
I squished those.
I think that if you are caught trying to kill any government official, it should be an instant death penalty.
Name more than some party crashers.
That's what I think. This is a completely made up problem. Nobody should be putting up with this at all.
It hurts. Only 60 seconds left.
Sentence.
The Supreme Court.
Green. And remember, there is precedent for the Department of Justice appealing life sentences and winning. So in Benghazi, bomber, murderer, a guy named Taro, he was sentenced to a life sentence here in the D.C. District Court. The judge gave him a life sentence. The U.S. Attorney's Office sought an appeal, and the D.C. Circuit, the second highest court in the land, here in D.C., reversed and said the sentence is more harshly. In fact, what they said was the sentence is substantially unreasonably low in light of the gravity of the
do this to anybody, like any lawmaker or any like government official, you should. I would be fine with instant death penalty. Sure. But there's no reason that anybody. Like, we don't. Why are we tolerating this? Why are we putting up with this shit?
We're going to use that language in this appeal. It's crazy. All of whom are federal judges, some maybe wannabes on the Supreme Court, are going to say resentence them and sentence them to at least this.
Considering political violence recently, two assassinations of a presidential nominee, a former president of the United States.
Against the world!
Stiff sentences.
Well, you don't sentence based on the zeitgeist of the day. You sentence on the gravity.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
That's a prudent thing to say. He's right.
In fact, in this particular case, when you take out one night of the Supreme Court, and you plan way ahead, you travel all the way across the country, you had zip ties, and you had aspirations to take out more than one justice, maybe a third of the Supreme Court, this judge was a little bit out to lunch, and she's going to get overruled.
We will follow this Roski case closely. Cully Stimson,
So
thank you.
I will go. This is kind of a separate issue, right? But I'll pull up one more person, and then I want to pull up the new stuff with ICE because apparently there's been some kind of crazy shit going on. Didn't realize so Zach. How far Zach has fallen into MAGA? What about what I'm saying is MAGA discourse? I'm kind of curious. What is it? Is it?
Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
Well, here at home, Vice President J.D. Vance heading to Minneapolis to meet with local leaders as anti-ICE protesters continue in the Twin Cities. Garrett Tanny joins us from the Twin Cities as it awaits the Vice President's arrival. Garrett.
Hey, good morning, y'all. The White House says the Vice President will be hosting a roundtable with local leaders, and the focus of that roundtable will be on restoring law and order in Minnesota.
Seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Ms. Palmer. Morrow is here, and he's a Fox News contributor and a retired NYPD inspector. This thing feels like it is growing. What did you think about
born to
the
change
interview
humanity
from
for the better.
Can we take
That
it seriously?
time, I will bring peace.
Here's the thing, obviously.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Which means it's probably not, right?
Choose to believe it or not.
You're about to find
A
out.
grand jury, or ultimately, if it goes to trial, a petit jury, a jury of volunteers, 12 people, potentially believing her testimony relative to these other people. But when you have somebody like this that's on the inside, we always called it an intelligence pointer.
There
She's
they
there
are.
to tell you as you go through the mountain communication. We know
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
as you ferret through
I've always wanted my own mission.
Then you better stop talking. The mission area is
A lot
yours.
of time it helps focus the investigation.
Should have. I could start redecorating it now.
Less time
Oh, you shut it. The battle isn't over yet.
Anybody who's ever been around.
Seems like a weakness now since I kept asking Thanksgiving, and it's their fault not. It's not getting out of it. By the way, 250 million stolen. Because moments ago, on Sunday in Minneapolis, the AG Pam Bondi posted this.
Reaver
All right, I'm reading
is
now.
a mutant's
Minutes ago,
greatest
at my
gift.
direction, HSI and FBI agents executed
We
an
must
arrest in
stand our
Minnesota.
ground.
So far, we've arrested So far, okay, we'll come back to that. So far, we have arrested Nikema Levy Armstrong, who allegedly played a key role in organizing the coordinated attack on City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Share more updates.
You
Captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Monday, Trish McLaughlin was on with Jamie.
Fuck that beautiful baby!
I think we will be seeing mugshot very soon. She was tipping her hand at a restaurant.
Give it never fall! You need help here.
Control lost.
Now here is the thing that's going to come out of this. You have her under arrest. Now you're going to get the communications. And this is where it starts to spiral about. You start to see who's talking to who showed up in regard, including Don Lemon. How much do we all know going in? Like conspiracy
I am
Disappear!
by the eye of I don't forget.
See that? Putting a racial overtone.
Healing energy.
I talked a little bit about this on Friday. He had a piece about her. She's been doing professional protesting and organizing for a long
Good
time.
medicine.
She gets a lot of grants from different nonprofits. She's always made more money than she
Give it never fall!
financial incentive for her. There's a business.
Glory's almost yours.
Fuck that beautiful baby!
I like the cold. You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner. Control lost.
They're looking for any cause in the world to get them out of the campuses. They grow those groups in those institutions. And then they pick out people who want to stay in that world. They don't go back to East Cupcake and get a job eventually after college.
I have
They stay
unfinished
in that, they
business
become
here.
the middle management, and it grows and it grows. It's very much like any other industry. If you dig down deep enough, you find out that there's tax money going into all this stuff.
Mind the explosive
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley
Mortal
Earhart.
pain
Click
is
here to
no match
subscribe
for
to
the
Fox News
Sorcerer
YouTube
Supreme.
page.
I'm
Catch our
opening a
hottest
portal.
interviews and most compelling analysis.
Pentagram of Corral.
released at the Hudson Institute, Michael Doran. Michael, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining me. Help me out here and tell me what is going on with the administration. First they say help is on its way, then it seems like they're backing off. Walk us through what the strategy is here.
Well, thanks for having me. Great to be here. I'm not as certain as you that there is no military action planned. Part of what's happened here is that the president has been buying time to bring forces into the Middle East. He was warned off the attack after he first threatened it by the neighbors, by the Saudis and the Turks especially. But also reportedly by Prime Minister Netanyahu, who said that if we're going to do this again, because if Donald Trump starts the war, or if the Israelis, whether Donald Trump starts the war or the Israelis start it, it's going to involve Israel and the United States. And so Prime Minister Netanyahu said it's not worth all of the effort if we don't really bring about a significant change this time. And so I think then Donald Trump bought some time, listened to the allies, but now he's also bringing reinforcements in. And as of tomorrow, we're going to have an aircraft carrier group in the region, as well as augmented air and missile defense systems. So I think that next week we might actually see that.
Well, that's going to be fascinating.
By the eye of Agamotto!
What targets would the U.S. be looking to strike to actually bring forth a toppling of this hated regime, causing mayhem not just in Iran, not just in the Middle East, but around the world since 1979? Where would you expect that they would be hitting targets? Would they be IRGC, Republican Guard targets? Would they be other military installations? How do you get militarily that regime to fall? And eventually, I suppose, the Ayatollah and all his pals to pack their bags, go over to carry on and head off to Moscow?
Well, I think the number one target would be himself.
By the eye of Agamotto!
The president of Iran, Pezeshkian, has been signaling quite openly. It's quite remarkable, actually. He's been saying, look, I feel your pain for protesting. You're suffering economically. We understand that. The only way to solve this is to have a negotiation with the Americans, because of the sanctions that we can't make any economic advancement. But we can't negotiate with the Americans because the Supreme Leader won't let us. I mean, he doesn't say it quite like that, but if you put together all of the statements he's made, he's basically saying, my hands are tied, I think we should negotiate, but the Supreme Leader won't let us. So I think the natural thing, if you're Donald Trump, is to try to decapitate the regime and try to deal with the women, which is what they did basically in Venezuela. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. One scenario would be to try to decapitate the regime. Another would be to try to embolden the protest line, as you suggest, that did but very visible. IRGC and Basij is the militia that is shooting all the people on the street.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela. You've seen targeted assassinations by the Israelis. You would have to be feeling very insecure right now, just about where he's going to sleep.
Well, he's very insecure. One of the things that's going on, it's fascinating, James, since the June war between Israel and Iran, is that he has surrounded himself by ultra-loyalists. Because he found out during the war, he was lied to by his own people. They lied to him about their capabilities. And then after the destruction by the Israelis, they lied to him about the extent of the destruction. And so he has such distrust of the people around him that were around him because of the lies, but also distrust because of the deep penetration of Iran by Israeli intelligence. And this has led him to surround himself now by ultra-loyalists who are actually much more extreme in their political views than their predecessors. That's one of the things that